Hey, let's talk about games. Welcome back, my friend. Today we're going to be doing a video talking all about Martyr and what we do know, what we don't know, and what we know a little bit of in terms of the game's sort of future and upcoming content. This is hopefully going to address some of the concerns and some of the queries within the forums, but as well as that, it may also raise more concerns regarding some of the features. That being said, let's get stuck into the list first. Now, I'm going to organise this and first start with what we do know about what's coming up with the game. Now, thus far, we do know that the developers are currently working on another 4 map types, which we don't know when they'll be released, but we do know there's going to be 4 map types, which include some rooftops, some Imperial ruins, and things of the sorts. We don't know all of their names, but we know that they will be in the game by final release. There may be an additional map type as well coming in the next couple of months, so either way we know by the time the game comes and is finally released, we're going to be looking at somewhere in the region of about 10-ish map or terrain types. Now, something else we do know is that the game is going to be getting a new camera mode, which is going to be optional. They are not making this into a strict top-down mode, but they are giving you an option of using a top-down mode, which is going to shave the walls and have a working opacity setting. So basically, you won't ever need to rotate the camera. It's just going to give you a nice, clean, crisp field of view. You'll never have to worry about turning it. Some of you will like it, some of you won't. So we know that's coming. We can already envisage what it's going to look like because enough other games, I mean, they're calling it a classic top-down view for a reason. Now, next, we know via their description of the recent letter that visual customization will include both a Transmog feature, so changing skins for other skins, as well as the ability to alter colour in terms of the tint of your clothing. And if you look at some of the videos, you'll see some bits of armour are blue, some are pink, some are purple. Now, I think it's fairly safe to sort of extrapolate that, well, we sort of know how it's going to work. You're going to change one colour for another. There's probably going to be a dye system where you pick a colour. Maybe there'll be an RGB system where you can actually pick the exact colour. We don't really know that, but we know enough about it. And we also know you're going to be able to pick whether you're clean, dirty, very dirty, etc. You're going to have a little bit of control over your grimy sort of features. Now, the next thing we do know a little bit about is the crafting, and this isn't via being told. You can just simply look at the tooltips on the crafting tab and it tells you exactly what it's going to do. We know you're going to be able to either exchange or boost assets on a weapon. You're going to be able to exchange the sort of the weapon type. So if it's a Mark IV bolter that has, I don't know, plus 20% ammo as a bonus, you may be able to swap that for something else, as well as, let's say it has plus 9 range damage. Maybe you'll be able to swap that for plus 5 crit. We don't know how it's going to work, but we know what it's going to do, which is basically in line with pretty much every other ARPG out there. Because it's all random loot, you've got to have a feature like this. We know it's coming, we don't know when. Again, scheduling, of course, we're just waiting for the updated roadmap. And lastly, we do also know about the enemy factions, what it's going to include within the final game. We know the Night Lords are going to be here with the upcoming test season as such, and we also know the game is going to have the Dark Elder and the Alpha Legion, and they're all going to be in the game by launch. So yes, there's going to be a lot of Chaos Space Marine reskin factions that are all going to have a few unique units apiece. That's what we do know. We also know some of the things we're working on, but not a lot of the specifics, and that's really falling into the stuff we know a little bit about category. So the next list of stuff we know a bit about. Now, we know that they are making new mission types. We've had some of them named, only about 2 or 3, but we know that there will be more mission types. Now, what we don't know is quantity and, well, what the variety is going to include. In the initial SketchUp, there was going to be about 45 mission types. Now, obviously, we're very, very far short, currently having about 4 or 5 mission types, so we have a long way to go. We don't know if they're still going to hit that target, and we don't know what the types of missions will include. Previously there was a bunker buster. We know that basically never worked, so they just cut it out. There was another one as well due some time ago that was also cut out because it didn't work. I think one can safely say that that has been probably worked on. We know there's going to be endless missions, although we're not entirely sure if they're going to be endgame content and, well, what exactly they're going to be. We know it's like a suicide mission. We go down to a planet, you're probably not going to make it out alive, and you just do as much as you can, well, to get as far as you can, basically. That, again, is something we don't know a lot about in terms of its purpose. Now, the next type of thing that we know a bit about is the morality system. We know it's going to be a case of radical or Puritan. It's going to be a sort of a scale in terms of the choices you've made would influence your standing, and that's going to have some impact on the gear you can equip. So whether you have, and this is going to lead us neatly on to the next one, you could have demonic weapons or holy weapons, depending on being a radical or Puritan. Now, what we don't know is how this is going to manifest. Is this going to be specific to story-driven content when you make certain key decisions at certain moments, a bit like the Fable games? Is it going to be a case of just doing a mission, at the end of the mission you get to choose do something good or do something bad? Will it be a tick box approach? How this is going to manifest and how this is going to how this is going to affect us within the game is really quite a grey area right now. Again, we just don't know. But on the subject of new weapon types, we also don't know what these new weapon types are going to be. We do know there's going to be a lot of them. There's going to be a sort of a demonic version of most of the regular weapons. At least that's what a developer said quite some months ago. We also know there's godlike weapons due, but we don't know if these weapons are going to be unique, if they're going to have different skill tags to the previous versions of a weapon. So if you have a demonic axe, will it just be a standard axe with extra lifesteal? In which case, I'm just going to say now, that would be incredibly underwhelming. Or will it have some unique skills? Will it have a different system of skills? We have no idea. Again, something else we know a little bit about is that the cover system is also going to be getting a revamp. It's going to be getting an overhaul, basically because it's never been revamped or overhauled or even balanced since it was implemented. So that's something we can look forward to. We know they're adding more cover. Now, the reason this is in the category of we're not entirely sure is they said they've come up with a new sort of cover system which would be more beneficial for players to use. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but there's changes been made, and maybe it will be a shift away from just regenerating health and suppression to actually giving some more notable buffs. Again, we just have no idea. And I did already touch on them, but I think it's worth mentioning again. The endless missions, again, we know it's sort of a suicide mission, but we don't know the purpose of it, how it's going to be within the game, what its function will be. Now for the stuff which I've put under the category of no effing idea. Absolutely no idea how this is going to work or what it's going to be. So first up on this list is vehicle combat. Okay, we know it's coming. They've said in the interview the other day that, or the interview I did, hashtag check it out, we just don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be tied to the story? Is it going to be a move from X to Y on a specific map? Is it going to be a game mode? Is it going to be a mini game? We have absolutely no idea. We don't know what we're going to be piloting. We don't know if it's going to be something that's multiplayer enabled. We just have no idea. Next up on the list of no effing idea is the retinue system, because speculation aside, all we have is speculation. We don't know if there are going to be in combat companions. We don't know if they're going to be ship-based companions. We don't know if it'll be a mini-game feature like in some of the other Neocore games where you have a system where you send them on missions and they gather resources, a bit like Knights of the Old Republic. We just don't know what the retinue system actually is. We know there's a table on the bridge for it. We know they're making the system. We know it's not been abandoned, but we just have no idea. Now we're on to the season event. So every single time I've asked about a season, we get a response that there will be priority assignments, extra missions, story-driven content that will sort of follow it through the season, and that will lead to specific season, end-of-season events. Huge grey area there. Not a single point of clarification on that. Absolutely no idea. We know the events are going to involve a decision that determines the outcome of the season. So we all may choose to exterminatus, well, the majority of us may, in which case the planet will undergo exterminatus, or we may choose to, I don't know, jump in and save a cat from a tree. We have absolutely no idea what these events actually are, though. Will it just be a story mission with a choice at the end? It's called an event. Sounds pretty big, but we have no idea. And finally, the Battleground feature. The Battleground feature, the Battlefields feature, I can't even remember what it was called, it was a while ago. We were just told that they were working on some endgame feature, and that was one of their concepts. Again, we have absolutely no idea what this is, how it works, what it does. And that's pretty much my list at the moment. If there's anything else I've missed, make sure you throw it down in the comments below as to stuff you're not sure about. Maybe I can help you out. Or maybe there's some stuff that actually I'm not sure about either and I've forgotten about because I'm so not sure about it. We'll have to wait and see. But this is the list, and what I do want to say is just sort of a concluding remark is this is my belief, but this is Neocore in terms of a marketing strategy. They are holding a lot of stuff back, and I believe it is more of a marketing strategy than sort of developer incompetence, which is what some people were claiming it to be. They're saying, oh, the developers aren't very sure of anything. Oh, they're not telling us what exactly stuff is. They can't clearly decide. Oh, they don't know. Even things that were decided 9 months ago are only being trickled out in terms of small releases. For example, the Night Lord Dreadnought was released to us as a model. We saw what it looked like ages ago. I would say 6-7 months ago. And then 5 months later, they've finally sort of hinted that the Night Lords would be in the game. It's like a big whoop. We saw that ages ago. Same with the Dark Elder. We saw their Incubus or Incubi. I can't remember the singular. We saw that model when the game was first released. We saw a little GIF of it, and then we saw a model of it. And then ages down the line, they say, oh, by the way, we're making Dark Elder. Big surprise! Again, I believe that they are literally just keeping a lid on most of this stuff because the managers have told them to. And I can only presume that this is something to try and generate as much hype as they can at launch. That's the impression I'm being given anyway. If you have a different impression, feel free to tell me down in the comments below. I think we can all agree that we would love to know more. We would want to know more. I want to know more. You want to know more. We all want to know more. I guess it's then a question of what is actually best in terms of the game financially, because the game needs to succeed. And ultimately what happens now is just, yes, it does influence the reviews, and perhaps some more information would have led to less negative reviews, but you've got to weigh that up against perhaps the amount of positive sales that may be generated by giving extra content post-launch, which will help the player base numbers, which may help other players enjoy the game, create more of a community vibe. I don't really know. I don't know what the right and what the wrong approach is. This is just their approach. But just wanted to throw that out there. Guys and girls, remember, down in the comments, let me know if there's anything I've forgotten, and I'll see you in the next week. Remember, if you do want to check out any of the streams I've been doing, just check out the Patreon link down below. They're not chargeable in any way. There's no paywall. They're just all listed on there, so I don't have to spam my YouTube with all of my stream videos I've been doing. But there's about 6 or 7 streams up there now, so if you want to watch 24 hours of Hydra, I think it's actually possible now without going through all of the videos I've already made. Have yourself a great week, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully we get that goddamn roadmap. Take care.